In this video, we'll be taking a look at the newly redesigned sign-up process for new clients. This will let them schedule their initial appointment with you while also registering for the client portal. So before we walk through that process of what your client would actually see as they're coming into the portal, scheduling an appointment, and signing up, we first want to look at some of the setup involved to make that experience go much smoother for your clients as they enter the site for the first time. So I'm currently logged into Therapyzen. I'm in the settings area of the application and I'm looking at the client portal tab within settings. The first thing you see in the client portal settings is the client portal link. This is a hyperlink that we provide that you can put on your website that gives your clients access to the portal login page where they can either sign in or new clients can click to begin and get started. The next section on this page is the new client welcome or your practice bio. This is just a simple text box that allows you to put in a nice description about your practice as well as your services, maybe even some contact information if you like. But this will get displayed in the client portal as a nice welcoming message to new clients to your site for the first time about to sign up and about to schedule their first appointment. A little later in the video, as we're going through the portal as a new client, you'll see where this text shows up and understand why it's important to fill this out. Okay, and the next section we want to look at is a little bit further down the page, and it is the Client Portal Options section. And this is just a simple set of options that you can turn on or off that will dictate the experience that your client has coming through the portal for the first time. We'll just go through this list and I'll explain what each of these are real quickly. The very first one here, automatically accept appointment requests for new clients. So when a new client comes into the portal and finds an availability slot and requests an appointment time, if you want to just automatically accept it without having to go through an approval or denial process, turn this on here to say yes, and any request that the new client makes in the portal will automatically get scheduled as an appointment. If you'd rather have a request come through that you need to approve or deny, go ahead and say no here and turn this off. The next option is to require new clients to complete Therapyzen's intake. Therapyzen provides a 5-page wizard that asks a bunch of intake questions to your new clients to help fill out their record within Therapyzen. If you want to make it a little easier for them, you can turn this off so they don't have to go through that wizard to fill out those forms and they can get right into the portal after signing in. This next option is just like the first one, however, it's for existing clients. So clients that have already registered and are regular visitors to the portal, if you just want to go ahead and accept appointment requests and not have to go through the approval and denial stage of accepting appointments, just turn this on to say yes as well. And finally, the last one is require that all clients have a credit card on file to actually schedule an appointment. This only pertains to existing clients in the system. Any new clients coming into the portal for the very first time for their initial appointment, they will be allowed to schedule it without having to enter a credit card. So those are the most important parts of setup for the new client registration and appointment request in the portal. So let's go take a look at another area within Therapyzen that you'll want to set up for that client portal. And to do that, I'll want to come up to my profile link here in the header and just click there. And when my profile page loads up, the first thing I'll notice is my availability is set up, so any new clients coming into the portal will see my available times for appointments. However, I want to come up here to this new tab, Staff Bio/Photo, and go ahead and open that tab. Now the top section of this tab is where you would upload your profile photo within Therapyzen, and that's always been there, but we've added this new section down below, Update Your Staff Bio. So this is just like the practice bio that we just looked at in settings. However, this is directed or specifically about you as a clinician, as a counselor, and what a new client coming into the portal for the first time would see and read about you. And we advise that any clinicians in the system fill out this bio because those will be displayed in the portal for new clients to see and read as they're coming into the portal for the first time. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We want to make sure that we've got the portal set up correctly in the settings area, and I want to make sure I've got this staff bio filled out for myself. Now we'll go ahead and take a look at what that process looks like for a new client coming into the portal for the very first time. Okay, and here we are at the login page of the client portal. And as you can see in the top section of this login screen, an existing client can come here and log in as they normally would. However, a brand new client who's just visited your website for the first time and clicked on the link to go to the portal, they've now got this button down here that they can click, Book My First Appointment. They can go ahead and click there. And the first page they see is the Welcome to the Client Portal. And this is where that bio of your practice comes into play. It's the very first thing that you see across the top here, and it's that welcome message to the new client to give them some information about your practice or any other miscellaneous information you would want to put there. Now, Therapyzen provides this second section of information, which basically gives a little bit of instruction and also puts your contact information in there if the client does need to contact you for any reason throughout this process. As we move a little further down the page, any clinician within your practice gets listed here on this page. You can see the clinician's photo, you can see their name, their license, as well as that bio that we looked at in the staff profile. So here's where your biography comes into play. The new client can come here, read about you, and decide if you're the right counselor for them, and if so, they'll want to go ahead and try to schedule an appointment with you. But before we do that, if I scroll a little further down the page, you'll also notice that any locations that we have set up in Therapyzen are displayed on this page as well, just so the client can get an understanding of where they might want to schedule an appointment based off a location that might be a better fit for them. Each of the locations gives the address, contact information, and a nice map over here on the right side, which they can get directions using as well. So if I scroll back up, I'm going to go ahead and select a clinician here. So the client may decide they want to go ahead and pick this clinician here. So they'll click here, Schedule an Appointment. And that'll bring them to the appointment request page, which they'll see your bio listed once again. And all they need to do here is go ahead and select the service, which is based off of your availability. And upon clicking that, it renders all of your available appointment slots based off your days, times, and the locations that you've set up. So once the client is ready, they'll go ahead and pick a time slot based off of the time and location and the day. And they're presented with this form here that gives them all of the appointment details for the slot they've selected. They're shown a map so they can get directions to that particular location. And then down below, we show your cancellation policy and the grace period that you've set in your Therapyzen setup for cancellations. If the client wants to pick a different availability slot, they'll just click the cancel button. But if they're ready to go ahead and schedule, they'll go ahead and click confirm. And after clicking confirm, they will be brought to the registration page, which is just a few simple fields to give you the client's name, get a valid email address, and a phone number if they elect to do so. So they'll need to complete this step for that appointment request to go through, and at the same time, they'll also be registering for the client portal. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this form out, and we'll move forward from here. Okay, so I went ahead and filled out this registration form, and I'm ready to go ahead and continue, so I'll click Register. Okay, and once that registration is submitted, your client will get this little thank you message here, also letting them know that we just sent an email to their email address, which they'll want to go and click on the activation link in the email that we just sent. So we'll go through that step next, and then we'll see what their initial login to the portal looks like. Okay, so at this point, your client has received the confirmation email. They went ahead and clicked the link in the email, which brings them to this page here. It's an official welcome to the portal and allows them to go ahead and create their password at this point. And just remember that the username is generated by the system, and this would be their username moving forward. We go with this type of format for security reasons. We don't want to use very simple logins such as email addresses that could be vulnerable to security problems. So we go ahead and generate this email, and they'll just want to keep this recorded somewhere for future use. So I'm going to go ahead and create a password here real quickly. Okay, I've got a password created. I'm going to go ahead and click Save and Log In. Okay, and upon logging in for the very first time, what I'm presented with is the Therapyzen intake form. It's a series of 5 different pages that ask for all of the basic information about your client. It includes basic information, contact information, family information, medical history, and any patient documents that you've stored in the system for them to download during their initial walkthrough of the intake. Now I currently have this turned on in settings, so a client would have to go through this process to get to the actual portal. But this is one of those things that you can turn off. So if you want your client to be able to go directly to the portal page instead of having to go through this intake, that's one of those options that we looked at in the client portal settings. So I'm going to skip ahead, we'll go past this wizard, and we'll end up here on the portal page in just a second. Okay, so here we are in the client portal, and I've just completed the intake. Now, had you turned off the intake where your client didn't have to go through that, they'd have just ended up right on this page here, which is their portal profile. So as I'm looking at this page, you can see the appointment request that the client made is sitting in the upcoming appointments widget here because we auto-accepted any appointment requests for new clients. There's no approval and denial process. So it's already scheduled. It should be on my calendar, which if I've got my Google Calendar synced up, I'll get alerts, and your client will also get text messages and an email reminder about this appointment. So the last thing we want to look at here is if your client decides they want to go ahead and schedule another appointment a week from now or in the future, if they do come here and click Schedule an Appointment and go to click that, if in your settings you have it set up where they must enter a credit card before they can schedule, this is the form that they'll be presented with, where they'll have to enter their credit card information so they can continue and actually schedule an appointment moving forward. For this option to be available, it is required that in Therapyzen you've got Stripe payment processing enabled in your settings area. Stripe is the credit card processing service that we use to process all credit card transactions. That's required. Once you have that turned on, you can start storing credit cards and use those for any transactions moving forward. So that's the process of setting up your client portal to provide as much information as you can for new clients coming in, which includes those bios of both your practice as well as each clinician in the system, showing the maps of your different locations as well as the different service types and availability. But the important takeaway here is how easy it is for that new client to come in, see your clinicians, select one, see the available times and locations, make a request, complete the registration, and end up in the portal in just a matter of a couple minutes.